What if we used 100% of our brains when deciding what Yu-Gi-Oh deck to play? Actually, I meant 100% of the alphabet, because it's episode 4 of A to Z Yu-Gi-Oh, which means it's time for the D. And my deck of choice is Dinomorphia. To the list. And here it is. Dinomorphia, as you can see, is a trap-based strategy, which does leave it quite vulnerable to back row hate, like a Harpy's Feather Duster or a Lightning Storm. But thankfully, the deck doesn't just straight up lose to those cards. And the game plan revolves around having our life points and then taking advantage of effects that just get better and better as our life points get lower and lower, which gives it good synergy with generic traps that just so happen to like some reduced life points. Now, to a quick card by card. First off, we have our 5 main deck Dinomorphia monsters. Yeah, not a very monster heavy deck considering how big the traps are. First off, we have the more important of the two, 3 Dinomorphia Thurzia. When this card's normal and special summon, we can set a Dinomorphia trap directly from our deck, which just sets us up perfectly because really all we need sometimes is that one trap. And the 2 Diplos, not as good. When it's normal and special summoned, we can send a Dinomorphia to the grave, and he's just kind of here because we need more main deck monsters. Much prefer to draw a Thurzia. As a neat little tech option, we've got 2 Wannabes. During the end phase, we can send this card from our hand to the graveyard, excavate cards equal to the number of unused spell and trap cards in our opponent's zone, so hopefully 0. And then we can set one of those excavated traps to our field, but we do have to use it ASAP. It will go away, but we plan on using it ASAP most of the time. And the last monster in the deck, 3 Droll and Lockbirds. We need a hand trap. This one's pretty good. I don't know. As for spells, we're running 3 Pot of Duality. Usually we're not special summoning on our own turn, so the drawback of not being able to special summon isn't that bad. And this lets us excavate 3, helping us get 1 closer to a trap that we might need. We've got 3 Fossil Dig. This can let us search for Thurzia, so we'll take those. And 1 Lightning Storm, just a nice little back row hate or monster hate. Really versatile card, and it can help us a lot going second. And now to the traps, which there are a lot of. We start off with 3 Dinomorphia Domain. This is one of our fusion spells. During either main phase, we can pay half our life points and special summon a Dinomorphia Fusion, using monsters from our hand, deck, or field. Then we've got 3 Dinomorphia Frenzy, which only during our opponent's main phase lets us do basically the same thing, except we can also use monsters from our extra deck as material, with the drawback of it having to be our opponent's main phase. Then, both of these cards also have effects that when our life points are 2,000 or less, we can remove them from our grave and take no effect damage from our opponent's card effects this turn, because when you get your life points that low, you really don't want to get burned. Now to the more techie Dinomorphia traps that don't have a fusion summon, we have 1 Dinomorphia Alert. We can pay half our life points and special summon up to 2 Dinomorphias from our graveyard, whose total level equals 8 or less, hopefully getting a Thurzia back on the field and setting a trap that we need. Then, when our opponent activates a card or effect while our life points are 2,000 or less, we can banish it from the grave, and again, take no effect damage, just keeping us alive. We've got 1 Dinomorphia Brute. We can pay half our life points and destroy a Dinomorphia we control, and a card our opponent controls, disrupting them pretty good. It comes with the same effect damage. We've got 2 Dinomorphia intact. When a monster effect is activated while we control a Dinomorphia, cut our life points in half, negate it, and destroy that monster. Also, it comes with some nice battle damage reduction, which differs from all the effect reduction from earlier, so it's kinda needed. Finally, we've got 1 Dinomorphia Sonic. When our opponent activates a spell or trap while we control a Dinomorphia, cut our life points in half, negate it, and destroy that card. Then destroy a Dinomorphia we control, which does kind of suck. And again, it comes with some battle damage reduction, which is quite nice. Now to a little bit of spice with the 3 of Soul of the Supreme King. We pay half our life points, which is exactly what we want to do in this deck, and special summon a Supreme King Zeark from our extra deck. A little bit odd that it's not a Dinomorphia, but trust me, it works. Then, if our opponent activates a spell card while this is in our grave, we can banish it and the Supreme King Zeark that we summoned, and special summon up to 1 each of a Pendulum Dragon, an Xyz Dragon, a Synchro Dragon, and a Fusion Dragon from our extra deck, which is why you can see there's some kind of stuffed in there, but we'll get to them later. We've got 3 Ferret Flames. If the combined attack of all monsters our opponent controls is higher than our life points, we make them shuffle monsters they control into the deck, except for monsters with 0 attack, so that the combined attack they control becomes less than or equal to our life points. So once our life points get really low, in that like 500, 1000 range, this is just a board wipe. We've got 3 Solemn Judgment, a classic. When a monster would be summoned, or a spell or trap is activated, slash our life points in half, and negate. And lastly, 3 Trap Trick, just lets us copy a trap, so 3 of whatever we want it to be, basically. Starting off the extra deck, we've got a lot of each of the Dinomorphias. So let's start off with 3 Dinomorphia Rexterm, comes with 3000 attack, and our opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters they control that have attack greater than or equal to our life points. So say for example, we have 1000 life points. They cannot activate the effects of any monsters who are at 1000 or above. Also, as a quick effect, we can pay half our life points and make the attack of all monsters our opponent currently controls become equal to our life points. So say, cut that 1000 into 500, and the attack of all our opponent's monsters becomes 500. Also, if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, we can special summon a level 6 or lower Dinomorphia from our grave for some good recursion. We've got 3 Kentragina. I have no idea if I'm saying that right, but this girl's the GOAT. We can special summon her, fusion summon, same thing, and once per turn as a quick effect, we can pay half our life points and copy the effect of a trap in our graveyard, letting us fusion summon again and having our life points again. So, double halves, double the greatness, and it's a free body. We can go from her straight into a Rexterm. 2 for 1 basically. Then we've got 3 Stealth Bagria. Again, don't know if I'm saying this right, but it's just a nice little protection thing. While our life points are 2000 or less, we don't have to pay life points to activate trap cards, so we don't have to half infinitely. Also, when our opponent activates a monster effect, we can inflict damage equal to their attack to them. Same thing. Next up is that suite of extra deck monsters that I was referring to earlier that we can use with Soul of the Supreme King. So we start off with Supreme King Zearch. Huge guy at 4000 attack, 4000 defense, and he's always going to be negated, but he's absolutely huge. So, welcome to the roster. We've got our 1 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. It can act as a monster negate, and it can gain attack equal to the monster that it's attacking. So really big, and it comes with a negate. Thank you. 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This is what I feel like is the best Fusion Dragon. It can just kind of get big, it's cool, but it's really nothing crazy. An Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon. This is our Xyz Dragon, and it cannot be destroyed by card effects if it's Xyz summoned, but I don't believe it technically counts as getting Xyz summoned. Sorry. It just comes with 3000 attack and is probably the strongest Xyz Dragon. Finally, we round the deck off with a Typhon and a Zeus. Just really good generic Xyz monsters. They clear the board. Very nice, very friendly cards. I recommend them. Now, here we go with game 1. Going first against raidraptor. Been a pretty popular deck recently actually, so let's see what we can do. We're going to start off with a Fossil Dig here, searching for our Thurzia, which is successful. We're going to set 4 and activate Thurzia, which gets Ghost Ogre, but we still get to search for our trap. So we have 5 set, and let's see what we can do with them. We have a Trap Trick, just lets us copy a trap from our deck, a Ferret Flames for our board wipe, Solemn Judgment for a negate, Sonic for a negate, and Frenzy to special summon out our Ketragana and our Rexterm. So we're in a pretty good spot. He's going to start off with his Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser. We Frenzy, bring out Ketragana, effect after the Curtain Raiser to special summon himself. We bring out Rex, and after he special summons Curtain Raiser, he special summons the Vanishing Linus effect, and he brings out Simorg. Now he's got 3 raidraptors on board, which getting a little scary. He's going to go for an Allure of Darkness here and draws into the Dark Ruler, which we can thankfully Solemn Judgment. No Dark Ruler for you, sorry pal. He's going to Xyz into Force Trick, so if we Rexterm to half our life points, and Ferret Flames clearing his board. In the end phase, we Trap Trick into a Frenzy. Crazy misplay here. Not much our opponent could do, but Frenzy only works in your opponent's main phase. And we technically don't have game on board. He surrenders here, but we technically didn't have game, but like, really we did. We had the Sonic, so any spell he tried to use we could negate. He couldn't use monster effects. He would have had to have pulled something crazy off that draw, and it just was not happening. So, a nice little surrender against the Dinomorphia. Game 1 down against a popular pick right now. And now for game 2, we are actually going to be going second against Ancient Gear. They just got that new dragon monster, which is probably this guy's intent. He's always going to start off with Activating Fortress and Gear Catapult. Bring out the new monster, who is not that good actually, because it can't be special summoned. I mean, it's still cool, but pretty underwhelming for a new card. He gets out Ancient Gear Dark Golem as well, and activates the Ancient Gear Advance. Ancient Gear Commander sets the Ancient Gear Duel and activates Ancient Gear Hunting Hound. Fusions into the Howitzer, dealing 1000 damage to us. And now it's our turn, but we're on 6400. Thank you for losing us life. We're going to start off with a Lightning Storm, clearing his back row. Fossil Dig gets Ash, but that's okay. We can still set 4 and pass. Let's see what 4 we set. The Frenzy, the Special Summon, the Sonic for a negate, the Soul of the Supreme King to bring out a giant fusion monster, and a trap trick to copy whatever we want. He draws a dead card, thankfully. We activate Frenzy and Soul of the Supreme King, halving our points twice, and activating the trap trick, bringing out the Ferret Flames while we're already on such a low HP. We can bring out Ketangana and the CR. Here we can go half our life points with Ketangana after we Ferret Flames. His whole board gets wiped, and we have game on board. Our opponent surrenders, and we still had a negate. Pretty good use of chains there. We could go Ketangana after the Ferret Flames, so when the Ferret Flames resolved, our life points would be low. But in the end, it didn't matter. We were dominating that anyways. And so yeah, another surrender for the Dinomorphias. And that's it. GG's to both of my opponents. As we could see, when Dinomorphia can get into that advantageous spot, where your life points are in a safe low spot, and you can get your extra deck monsters and some nice traps on the board, there is just nothing they can do. They have to surrender. You can wipe their board, you can negate their effects. You have strong monsters. We had a 4000 attack, 4000 defense monster on the board there. There's just nothing they can do. And I don't use trap strategies all that much, so this was certainly a fun one to play with. If you have any suggestions for lighters in the future, let me know down in the comments. Maybe give a like, maybe give a subscribe. I appreciate all of them. And other than that, have a great day, everybody.